You've been lied to your entire life. And the saddest part? You believed it. You believed that being good would protect you. That honesty would earn you respect. That kindness would be returned. That if you just waited your turn, played by the rules, smiled at the right people, the world would reward you. How's that working out for you? Let me guess. You've been overlooked, disrespected, taken advantage of. You've watched people with half your talent climb higher than you ever will, because they understood something you were never taught. They understood that the world doesn't run on fairness. It runs on power, and power doesn't care about your morals. It cares about your ability to see reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. Niccolo Machiavelli knew this 500 years ago. While everyone else was writing fairy tales about virtue and honor, he was documenting the brutal mechanics of human nature. He wasn't interested in what people should do. He was obsessed with what they actually do when no one's watching, and what he discovered would get him exiled, hated, and banned from polite society, because he told the truth. He said that humans are selfish, opportunistic, and easily manipulated. He said that morality is a costume people wear in public and discard in private. He said that if you want to survive in this world, let alone thrive, you need to stop believing the comforting lies society feeds you and start seeing the game for what it really is. A war. A chess match. A theater of masks, and you've been walking around without armor, without a strategy, wondering why you keep getting hurt. You've been taught to be the lamb. And the lions, they've been feasting. But not anymore. Today we're tearing down the 8 biggest lies that have kept you weak, obedient, and invisible. These are the illusions that make you easy to control, the myths that keep you small, the stories that sound noble but leave you broke, alone and powerless. And here's the thing. Once you see these lies for what they are, you can never unsee them. You can never go back to being naive. You'll walk through the world differently. You'll speak differently. People will sense something has shifted in you. Some will respect you. Others will fear you. And the ones who tried to manipulate you, they'll scatter like roaches when the light turns on. So if you're ready to stop being a victim of your own goodness, if you're ready to understand the rules of the game instead of crying about how unfair it is, then stay with me. Because this isn't just information. This is initiation. And by the end of this, you'll either be reborn, or you'll run back to your cage and pretend you never heard any of this. Your choice. But before we go further, I need to know you're serious. Comment below if you were ever punished for telling the truth, because that's where your awakening begins. That's the moment you realize the world doesn't reward honesty, it punishes it. And once you admit that, we can start building something real. Let's begin. Lie figure 1. People mean well. Let me tell you a story. You meet someone new. They smile. They ask how you're doing. They offer to help. They compliment your work. And you think, what a good person. Wrong. What you're seeing isn't goodness. It's a strategy. Every human interaction is a negotiation. Every smile is a calculation. Every act of kindness is a transaction, even when the person doing it doesn't consciously realize it. Machiavelli understood this. He said, men are so simple and so ready to obey present necessities that he who deceives will always find someone who will let himself be deceived. You know what that means? People don't act out of morality. They act out of necessity, out of desire, out of fear. And when they're nice to you, it's because they want something. Approval, safety, access, leverage. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually the bill comes due. And the most dangerous people? They're not the ones who are openly selfish. It's the ones who believe they're good. They're the ones who help you just enough to earn your trust, then drain you dry while calling it friendship. They're the ones who apologize beautifully, then repeat the same betrayal 6 months later. They're the ones who weaponize vulnerability to manipulate your empathy. You've met them. You've trusted them. and you've paid the price. So why do you keep believing people mean well? Because you were conditioned to. Your parents taught you to see the good in people. Your teachers rewarded you for being trusting. Society built an entire moral framework around the idea that humans are inherently good, and that bad behavior is just an exception, a deviation, a mistake. But Machiavelli would call that delusion. He spent his life watching rulers rise and fall. He studied betrayal, manipulation, alliance, and power. And he concluded that humans are not good or bad, they're self-interested. And self-interest doesn't care about your feelings. It cares about survival, status, and advantage. Let me be clear. I'm not saying everyone is evil. I'm saying everyone is strategic even if they don't realize it. And the moment you stop assuming people mean well, you stop being surprised when they don't. You stop getting hurt by predictable behavior. You stop giving your time, energy, and trust to people who haven't earned it. Instead, you start watching. You start testing. You start asking, what does this person gain from helping me? And if the answer is nothing, if their generosity seems unconditional, you ask the harder question, what are they setting up for later? Because that's the game. That's reality. People don't betray you because they're monsters. They betray you because the situation has changed, and their self-interest no longer aligns with yours. And when that happens, all the kindness, all the history, all the shared moments evaporate. Machiavelli said it plainly. Men will always be false to you unless they are compelled by necessity to be true. So stop waiting for people to prove they're good. Start assuming they're neutral, and then watch how they behave when it costs them something to help you. That's when you'll see the truth. That's when the mask slips. And here's the empowering part. Once you accept that people are self-interested, you stop feeling betrayed. You stop taking things personally. You stop wasting energy on disappointment. Instead, you start building alliances based on mutual benefit. You start surrounding yourself with people whose self-interest aligns with yours. And when it doesn't, you walk away cleanly, without drama, without bitterness. Because you understand the game, and you're no longer playing as the fool. So let me ask you, how many times have you been burned by someone you thought meant well? How many times did you ignore the red flags because you wanted to believe in their goodness? Drop a number in the comments. 1, 5, 10, 100, own it. Because admitting you were naive isn't weakness. It's the first step to never being naive again. Now let's go deeper. Because believing people mean well is just the surface. The next lie is even more dangerous. And it's the one that keeps you poor, powerless, and invisible. Lie number 2. Honesty is always respected. You told the truth. And you got punished for it. Maybe it was at work. You pointed out a flaw in the plan. You were honest about the numbers. You spoke up in the meeting, and instead of being thanked, you were sidelined. Labeled difficult, marked as a problem, or maybe it was in a relationship. You were honest about your needs. You expressed your boundaries. You told them how you really felt. And they called you selfish, cold, unreasonable, or maybe it was in your family. You stopped pretending everything was fine. You told the truth about the dysfunction, and they exiled you, called you ungrateful, said you were tearing the family apart. Sound familiar? Here's the truth they don't want you to know. Honesty is not respected. It's feared. And fear doesn't inspire admiration. It inspires attack. Machiavelli understood this intimately. He wrote, "Men are so simple, and so ready to obey present necessities that one who deceives will always find those who allow themselves to be deceived." But he also understood the flip side. Those who tell the truth will always find those who punish them for it. Because honesty disrupts the comfortable lies people live by. It exposes hypocrisy. It forces people to confront things they'd rather ignore. And most people would rather attack the messenger than face the message. So what do? Do you become a liar? No, you become strategic. You learn when to speak and when to stay silent. You learn that honesty is a weapon, and like any weapon, it's only useful when wielded with precision. Let me give you a framework. There are three types of truth. Truth that serves you. This is the truth you tell when it builds your reputation, protects your position, or strengthens an alliance. Example: admitting a mistake early before someone else exposes it. You control the narrative. You look accountable. You win. Truth that harms you. This is the truth that makes you look weak, incompetent, or vulnerable. Example: confessing your doubts to people who will use them against you. Never do this. Silence is your shield here. Truth that harms others. This is the truth that exposes someone else's lie, incompetence, or betrayal. Use this carefully. If you have power, it can destroy an enemy. If you don't, it makes you a target. Timing is everything. Machiavelli would tell you to master all three. To know when honesty is a sword, when it's a shield, and when it's a noose. Here's a real-world example. Let's say your boss is making a terrible decision. You know it. Everyone knows it. But no one's saying anything. If you speak up in front of the group, you'll be labeled a dissenter. But if you pull your boss aside privately, frame it as protecting their reputation, and offer a solution that makes them look good, suddenly you're not a problem. You're an asset. Same truth. Different delivery. Different outcome. That's the game. Now here's the part that will make some people uncomfortable. Sometimes the most powerful move is to let people believe a lie, especially if that lie serves your interests. Machiavelli called this the art of appearing. You don't have to be honest. You have to appear trustworthy. You don't have to be moral. You have to appear principled, because people don't respond to reality. They respond to perception. If you're always brutally honest, people will see you as reckless. If you're always silent, they'll see you as weak. But if you calibrate, if you speak truth when it elevates you and stay quiet when it protects you, people will see you as wise, controlled, dangerous, and that's when respect comes, not because you're honest, but because you're unpredictable. Because people can't manipulate you. Because you've learned to master the one thing most people never control: your own mouth. Machiavelli said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." So stop confessing your truth to people who haven't earned it. Stop volunteering information that weakens your position. Stop believing that honesty will protect you. It won't. Strategy will. Silence will. And knowing when to speak is the difference between being respected and being destroyed. Here's your affirmation. Say it aloud right now, even if you're alone. I control my words. I speak with purpose. I am not a slave to honesty. I am a master of strategy. Good. Now let's move to the next lie. Because this one is the reason so many good people feel guilty for wanting more. Lie number 3. Power corrupts. You've heard it 1,000 times. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And every time you hear it, a part of you shrinks. A part of you feels guilty for wanting more, for wanting control, for wanting to be the one making the decisions instead of following them. But here's the truth. Power doesn't corrupt. It reveals. Think about it. When someone has no power, they behave a certain way. They're polite, agreeable, humble. But is that who they really are? Or is that just survival? Give that same person power, money, status, authority, and watch what happens. The mask comes off. The real person emerges. And if they were always selfish, cruel, or corrupt, now you just see it clearly. So it's not that power corrupted them. It's that power that permitted them to stop pretending. Machiavelli knew this. He said, "Men rise from one ambition to another. First, they seek to secure themselves against attack, and then they attack others." In other words, humans are always hungry for more. The only difference between the good person and the bad person is opportunity. Give them both power and you'll see who they really are. But here's where society tricks you. They tell you that wanting power is dangerous. That ambition is a sin. That you should stay humble, stay small, stay grateful for what you have. Why? Because the people who already have power don't want competition. They don't want you to wake up and realize that the game is rigged in their favor. So they moralize powerlessness. They romanticize suffering. They tell you that being weak is noble, and you believed it. You believed that wanting more made you greedy, that seeking control made you a bad person, that ambition was the same as corruption. But let me ask you, who benefits from your guilt? Who profits when you stay small? Not you. The people who tell you to stay humble are the same ones stepping over you to get ahead. The ones who preach humility are the ones hoarding resources. The ones who say money doesn't matter are the ones who never have to worry about it. So stop apologizing for wanting power. Stop feeling guilty for wanting control over your life. Because power isn't evil. It's neutral. And in the hands of a disciplined, strategic, self-aware person, power is the greatest tool for protection, freedom, and impact. Machiavelli understood that power is survival. He wrote, "A prince ought to have no other aim or thought nor select anything else for his study than war and its rules and discipline, for this is the sole art that belongs to him who rules." Now replace prince with person. Replace war with strategy. What Machiavelli is saying is simple. If you want to control your life, you must study power. You must understand how it works. You must master the rules of the game, and that means shedding the guilt. That means accepting that ambition is not corruption, it's clarity. That wanting to win is not selfish, it's human. Here's the hard truth. The reason so many people fear power is that they fear themselves. They know that if they had control, they'd abuse it. So they project that fear onto everyone else. They assume that anyone who seeks power must be corrupt because they would be corrupt. But you're different. You're watching this because you want to be better, sharper, stronger. You don't want power to hurt people, you want power to protect yourself, to build, to create, to stop being at the mercy of people who don't care about you. And that's not corruption, that's awakening. So here's your new belief: power is responsibility, and the more power you have, the more capable you become of shaping your reality. The more you can protect the people you love. The more you can say no to the people who try to use you. And here's the secret. Most people will never seek power because they're terrified of responsibility. They'd rather complain than lead. They'd rather blame than build. And that's why they stay stuck, but you're not most people. You're here because you're ready to stop playing victim and start playing strategist. So stop fearing power. Start studying it. Start practicing it. Start becoming the kind of person who can handle it without losing yourself. Machiavelli said, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." But here's the updated version for you. It's better to be respected than liked. And respect only comes when people see that you have power and the discipline not to abuse it. That's when you become untouchable. Now let's move forward, because the next lie is the one that turns your kindness into a weapon against you. Lie number 4. Kindness will be returned. You helped them. You were there when no one else was. You gave them your time, your energy, your money, your trust. You expected nothing in return. You just wanted to be kind, and then you needed something. Just once, just a small favor, and they disappeared. No callback. No explanation. Just silence, and you felt like a fool. Here's what happened. You confused kindness with strategy. You gave without thinking. You helped without calculating. And the moment you needed something, you realized the truth. Kindness is not a currency that everyone honors. Machiavelli said it plainly. Benefits should be given little by little, so that they may be better enjoyed. You know what that means? Don't overwhelm people with generosity. Don't make them dependent. Don't give them so much that they start to resent you. Because when you give too much too freely, people stop valuing it. They start expecting it, and the moment you stop, they don't feel gratitude, they feel betrayed. This is the paradox of kindness. The more you give, the less it's appreciated. The more available you are, the less you're respected. The more you sacrifice, the more people assume you have nothing better to do. And here's the brutal truth. People don't remember what you gave them. They remember what you stopped giving them. So what do? Do you become cold? Selfish? Heartless? No, you become calculated. You start treating kindness like an investment. You give, but you watch the return. You help, but you notice who helps back. You extend generosity, but you pull it back the moment it's not reciprocated. Because kindness without boundaries is self-destruction. Let me give you a framework. There are 3 types of people in your life. Givers. These are the rare ones. They give as much as they take. They show up. They reciprocate. They value you. These people deserve your loyalty, your time, and your energy. Protect them, takers. These are the majority. They take everything you give and offer nothing back. They drain you. They guilt you. They disappear when you need them. These people deserve distance. Cut them off without guilt. Matchers. These are transactional. They give when you give. They help when you help. They're not friends, but they're not enemies. These people are useful. Keep them at arm's length. Now here's the key. Most people can't tell the difference. They treat everyone the same. They give to takers. They ignore givers. And they wonder why they feel empty. But you're going to start auditing. You're going to look at your relationships and ask, who has earned my kindness? And if the answer is no one, you're going to stop giving it away. Machiavelli understood this. He said men ought either to be well treated or crushed, because they can avenge themselves of lighter injuries. Of more serious ones they cannot. In other words, if you're going to help someone, help them completely, or not at all. Half measures create resentment. Small favors create entitlement. But strategic, intentional support creates loyalty. So stop being kind to everyone. Start being kind to the right people. And when someone shows you they don't value your kindness, don't double down. Don't try to prove your worth. Just walk away, quietly, cleanly, without explanation. Because the most powerful thing you can do is remove your energy from people who don't deserve it. And here's the part that will change your life. Once you stop giving to people who don't reciprocate, you'll have more time, more energy, more resources for the people who do. You'll build real relationships, deep trust, mutual respect. And that's when kindness becomes a strength, not a weakness. So here's your affirmation. Say it aloud. My kindness is a strategy, not a cage. I give with intention. I withdraw without guilt. Good. Now let's move to the next lie. Because this one is about loyalty. And if you don't understand this, people will use you forever. Lie number 5. Loyalty is earned by love. You thought that if you loved them enough, they'd stay loyal. If you cared deeply enough, sacrificed enough, showed up enough, they'd never betray you, and then they did. Maybe it was a friend who chose convenience over your years of history. Maybe it was a partner who left the moment things got hard. Maybe it was a colleague who threw you under the bus to save their own career. And you couldn't understand it, because you loved them. You were loyal. So why weren't they? Here's the truth. Loyalty is not built on love. It's built on fear, respect, and mutual benefit. And if any of those 3 are missing, loyalty crumbles. Machiavelli said, "It is much safer to be feared than loved when one of the 2 must be lacking." Now, that doesn't mean you should terrify people. It means you should never rely on affection alone to keep people loyal. Because love is fickle. It changes with mood, circumstance, and opportunity. But fear is consistent. Respect, that lasts. And mutual benefit, that's the glue that holds everything together. Let me break it down. Fear doesn't mean violence or cruelty. It means consequences. It means people know that betraying you comes with a cost. Maybe you'll cut them off. Maybe you'll expose them. Maybe you'll simply remove the value you bring to their life. The point is, they understand that loyalty to you is safer than disloyalty. Respect means they see you as someone who can't be manipulated. Someone who has power, competence, or influence. Someone who doesn't need them but chooses to keep them around. That choice makes loyalty feel like privilege, not obligation. Mutual benefit means the relationship serves both sides. You're not the only one giving. They're not the only ones taking. You both win. And as long as that's true, loyalty is automatic. Now here's where most people fail. They rely on love alone. They think emotional connection is enough, but it's not. Because when someone's self-interest changes, love evaporates. They'll rationalize the betrayal. They'll tell themselves you deserved it, and they'll move on without a second thought. So how do you build real loyalty? First, stop expecting it from people who haven't proven it. Loyalty is not given, it's tested. You test it by watching how people behave when it costs them something to support you, when they have nothing to gain. When no one's watching, that's when you see the truth. Second, make yourself valuable, not just likable. Not just kind, valuable. If you bring something to the table that no one else can, skills, connections, resources, insight, people will think twice before betraying you. Because losing you means losing something they can't easily replace. Third, be willing to walk away. The moment you make someone irreplaceable in your life, you lose leverage. But the moment you show that you're fine without them, they start valuing you more. Paradox, yes, reality. Absolutely, Machiavelli understood this. He said, friendships that are obtained by payments may be lost when the payments stop. In other words, if your relationships are built on what you give, they'll collapse the moment you stop giving. But if they're built on mutual respect, strategic alignment, and clear boundaries, they'll last. Now here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people in your life are not loyal. They're convenient. They're around because it's easy, because it benefits them, because they haven't found a better option yet. And the moment a better option appears, they'll take it. So stop romanticizing loyalty. Stop believing that love is enough. Start building relationships on a foundation that actually works. Fear of loss, respect for your value, and mutual benefit. And when someone breaks that foundation, don't fight for them. Don't beg. Don't try to remind them of the good times. Just remove your energy and move on. Because disloyal people will once again be disloyal, and you don't have time to babysit grown adults. Here's the mindset shift. Loyalty is not about who loves you. It's about who respects the cost of losing you. So make that cost high, make yourself irreplaceable, and surround yourself only with people who understand that betraying you is the worst decision they could make. That's how you build a circle of power. That's how you protect yourself. That's how you stop being the one who's always shocked by betrayal. Now let's move to the next lie, because this one controls how you see the world, and it's been shaping your reality without you even realizing it. Dinner 6. Truth always wins. You believed that the truth would come out. Those facts would speak for themselves. That eventually people would see reality and make the right decision. And then you watched someone lie their way to the top. You watched a manipulator destroy someone's reputation with a false narrative. You watched an incompetent leader get promoted because they looked the part. And you realized truth doesn't win. Perception does. Machiavelli knew this. He said men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see but few can feel. What does that mean? It means people believe what they see, not what's real. They trust appearances. They follow confidence. They bow to whoever controls the narrative, and the most dangerous people in the world? They're not the smartest. They're not the most talented. They're the ones who understand how to shape perception, how to craft a story, how to make people feel like they're right even when they're not. This is the battlefield you've been ignoring. While you were focused on being competent, on doing good work, on telling the truth, someone else was controlling the story. And now they're winning even though they're wrong. So what do? You stop playing by the truth. You start playing by perception. Here's the framework. There are 3 layers to every situation. Reality, what actually happened. Perception, what people think happened. Narrative, the story someone tells about what happened. Most people live in reality. They think facts matter, but powerful people live in narrative. They know that whoever controls the story controls the outcome. Let me give you an example. 2 employees made a mistake. One panics, admits it, and apologizes. The other reframes it as a learning opportunity. positions themselves as proactive and spins the story as a win. Who gets promoted? Same reality, different narrative, different outcome, that's the game. Now here's where this gets dark. If you're always telling the truth, you're predictable, and predictable people are easy to manipulate. But if you understand narrative, you can shape how people see you, how they interpret your actions, and how they respond to you. This doesn't mean lying. It means framing. It means context. It means understanding that people don't remember what you did. They remember how you made them feel. Machiavelli said, "The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present." In other words, people adapt their truth based on convenience. So should you. Not in a malicious way, but in a strategic one. You control what people know. You control what they see. You control the lens through which they interpret your behavior. Here's a tactical move. Stop explaining yourself. The more you explain, the more you invite doubt. Confident people don't justify. They state. They declare. They leave interpretation to others. Another move. Craft your image intentionally. Dress the part. Speak the part. Carry yourself like someone who has power, even if you don't yet. Because people will treat you based on how you present, not who you are. And here's the most powerful move: control the first narrative. When something happens, the first story people hear becomes the truth in their minds. So if you're in a conflict, speak first. Frame the situation first. Set the tone first. Because whoever defines the narrative wins the emotional war. This is why politicians, CEOs, and influencers spend millions on PR. It's not about truth. It's about controlling the perception of truth. And once you understand that, you stop being a victim of other people's narratives. You start writing your own. Now I know some of you are uncomfortable. You think this sounds manipulative, and maybe it is. But let me ask you, would you rather be honest and invisible or strategic and respected? Would you rather lose with integrity or win with intelligence? Because the world doesn't care about your intentions. It cares about results. And results are determined by whoever shapes the story. Machiavelli said, "It is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles." In other words, perception creates reality. If people perceive you as powerful, you become powerful. If they perceive you as weak, you become weak. The truth of who you are matters less than the story people believe about you. So stop waiting for the truth to win. Start building the narrative that serves you. Start shaping how people see you. Start mastering the art of perception. Because facts don't move people, stories do. And whoever tells the best story controls the room. Now let's keep going. Because the next lie is one that's kept you passive, obedient, and waiting for permission your entire life. Lie number 7. Patience guarantees reward. You've been told to wait your turn. To be patient. To trust the process. To work hard, keep your head down, and eventually you'll be rewarded. How long have you been waiting? 5 years? 10, 20? And where are you now? Still waiting. Still hoping. Still trusting that if you just endure a little longer, the universe will recognize your effort and hand you what you deserve. Here's the truth. Patience is not a virtue. It's a cage. Machiavelli said, "The lion cannot protect itself from traps, and the fox cannot defend itself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten wolves." You know what that means? Timing is not about waiting. It's about knowing when to strike. It's about reading the situation, sensing the opportunity, and acting before anyone else does. Patience is what they tell you to keep you obedient. To keep you from challenging the people in power. To keep you from taking what's yours, because let's be honest, the people who tell you to wait your turn are the ones who never waited for theirs. They cut the line. They made bold moves. They took risks. And now that they're comfortable, they want you to stay patient so you don't disrupt their position. But here's what they won't tell you. Opportunities don't wait. They appear, they flicker, and they vanish. And if you're too busy being patient, someone else will take them. So let's reframe this. Patience is not endurance. It's preparation. You're not waiting for permission. You're waiting for the perfect moment to act. And when that moment comes, you don't hesitate. You strike, you move, you dominate. Machiavelli understood that power is taken, not given. He said, "He who has not first laid his foundations may be able with great ability to lay them afterward, but they will be laid with trouble to the architect and danger to the building." In other words, if you wait too long to make your move, you'll be building on unstable ground. The best time to act is when you're ready and the situation is ripe, not when you're comfortable, not when you're certain, but when the moment aligns. So how do you know when to strike? First, watch the field. Who's distracted? Who's weak? Who's overconfident? Those are your openings. When everyone else is comfortable, that's when you move, because comfort breeds blindness. Second, stop asking for permission. Stop waiting for approval. Stop hoping someone will notice you and hand you an opportunity. Create your own. Build it. Take it. Apologize later if you have to, but don't ask first. Third, be willing to fail. The reason most people stay patient is because they're terrified of looking foolish. But Machiavelli knew that boldness beats caution every time. He said, "Where the willingness is great, the difficulties cannot be great." Translation: if you're committed, obstacles become irrelevant. But if you're waiting for the right time, you'll wait forever. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Every successful person you admire made their move before they were ready. They acted on incomplete information. They took risks that terrified them. And they won because they moved while everyone else was still deliberating. You think Jeff Bezos waited for permission to start Amazon? You think Elon Musk waited for the right time to launch Tesla? No, they saw the gap. They moved. They dominated, and you've been conditioned to wait, to play it safe, to avoid risk. And that conditioning has cost you years of your life. So here's your new rule. Patience is for preparation, not for permission. You prepare in silence. You watch. You learn. You build your skills, your resources, your network. And the moment you see the opportunity, you act without hesitation. That's when patience becomes power. Not when you're passively hoping, but when you're actively positioning yourself to strike. Machiavelli said, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." So stop being a fool. Stop waiting. Stop hoping. Start moving. Start taking. Start acting like the world owes you nothing. And then go out and take everything you deserve. Now let's move to the final lie. Because this one is the root of all the others. And once you break free from it, nothing will ever control you again. Lie number 8. Morality makes you strong. You've been taught that being good makes you strong. That following the rules, treating people with respect and living by a moral code will protect you. That if you just do the right thing, the universe will reward you. And then life taught you otherwise. You played by the rules. You were moral. You were kind. And you got crushed by people who weren't. You followed the code. And the people who broke it passed you by. You were good. And the world punished you for it. So let me ask you, does morality make you strong? Or does it make you controllable? Machiavelli said, "A man who wishes to act entirely up to his professions of virtue soon meets with what destroys him among so much that is evil." Translation: if you're the only one playing by the rules, you'll lose. Because the world is full of people who don't care about your morals, and they will exploit your goodness, manipulate your honor, and use your virtue as a weapon against you. This is the hardest truth to accept. Because you've been conditioned to believe that being good is the highest value, that morality is sacred, that breaking the rules makes you a bad person. But here's what no one tells you: morality is a leash. It's a set of rules designed to make you predictable, to make it easy to control, to keep you from acting in your own self-interest. And the people who enforce those rules, they don't follow them. They just want you to. Now, I'm not saying you should become a monster. I'm not saying you should hurt people for fun or act without conscience. What I'm saying is this: morality without power is useless, and power without morality is unstoppable. So the real question is, can you hold both? Can you be strategic and principled? Can you be ruthless when necessary and compassionate when it serves you? Can you break the rules when the rules don't serve you and still sleep at night? Because that's the Machiavellian truth. Strength doesn't come from rigid morality. It comes from flexibility, from knowing when to be the lion and when to be the fox, from understanding that the world is not black and white. It's gray. And the people who thrive in the gray are the ones who win. Machiavelli said, "One must be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten wolves." You know what that means? Morality alone makes you prey, but morality combined with power makes you untouchable. So here's the mindset shift. Stop asking, "Is this right?" Start asking, "Does this serve me?" Stop thinking in terms of good and evil. Start thinking in terms of effective and ineffective. Because the truth is, the world doesn't care about your morals. It cares about your results. And if you want to protect yourself, if you want to build something, if you want to stop being a victim, you need to accept that sometimes the moral choice is the weak choice. Sometimes the strongest move is to lie, to manipulate, to walk away, to betray before you're betrayed. Not because you're evil, but because you're strategic. And here's the secret. Once you free yourself from rigid morality, you gain clarity. You stop second-guessing. You stop feeling guilty for protecting yourself. You stop being paralyzed by the fear of being judged. You act. You decide. You win. Now, I know this makes some people uncomfortable. They think this sounds sociopathic. But let me be clear, this isn't about becoming heartless. It's about becoming free. Free from the moral guilt that's been weaponized against you. Free from the idea that you have to sacrifice yourself to be good. Because you don't. You can be good and powerful. You can be kind and strategic. You can care about people and protect yourself. But you can't do any of that if you're trapped by a morality that wasn't designed for your survival. Machiavelli said, "The ends justify the means." And while that phrase has been twisted and misunderstood, here's what it really means. If your goal is to protect yourself, to build something meaningful, to create a life of power and freedom, then you do what's necessary to achieve it. Not recklessly, not cruelly, but without apology. Because the world is not a fairy tale, and the people who pretend it is are the ones who lose. So stop letting morality be your cage. Stop believing that being good makes you strong. Start understanding that strength comes from discipline, strategy, and the willingness to do what others won't. That's the final lie, and once you shatter it, you become unstoppable. Now let's bring this home. Because you didn't just learn 8 lies, you've been initiated into a new way of seeing the world. And what you do with that knowledge will define the rest of your life. The Machiavellian rebirth, you made it. You didn't run. You didn't close the video when it got uncomfortable. You stayed. And that says something about you. It says you're tired of being weak, tired of being manipulated, tired of watching other people win while you play by rules that don't exist. So let me ask you, who are you going to be now? Are you going back to the lies? Going back to believing that kindness will protect you, that honesty will be respected, that patience will pay off? Are you going to keep pretending that being good is enough? Or are you going to step into something new, something sharper, something dangerous? Because that's what this is. This isn't self-help. This isn't motivation. This is initiation. You've seen behind the curtain. You've learned the rules of the game. You've been handed the map. And now you have a choice, use it or forget it. Machiavelli said, "Men are of 3 classes. Those who understand by themselves, those who understand when taught by others, and those who neither understand by themselves nor when taught by others." You're in the second class. You were taught, you listened, you understood, but now comes the hard part, the application. Because knowledge without action is just entertainment. And if all you do is watch this video, nod along and go back to your old life, then nothing changes. But if you take one principle, just one, and start applying it today, everything changes. So here's what you do. First, audit your life. Look at your relationships. Who's taking more than they're giving? Who's loyal? Who's just convenient? Start cutting the dead weight. Not with drama, not with confrontation, Just quietly remove your energy from people who don't deserve it. Second, stop explaining yourself. Stop justifying. Stop apologizing for wanting more. You want power? Take it. You want respect? Demand it. You want control over your life? Stop waiting for permission. Third, master perception. Start controlling how people see you. Craft your image. Shape the narrative. Become the person people think is powerful, and eventually you will be. Fourth, act before you're ready. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop hoping someone will notice you. Make your move. Take the risk. Strike while everyone else is hesitating, and finally, free yourself from moral guilt. You are not a bad person for protecting yourself. You are not selfish for wanting more. You are not evil for playing the game the way it's actually played. You're awake, and that's more than most people will ever be. Machiavelli spent his life studying power. He was hated for it, banned, exiled. But 500 years later, his words are still true. Because human nature doesn't change. The game doesn't change. Only the players do, and you're about to become a player. So here's your final challenge. If you're done living by lies, if you're ready to step into your power, type reborn in the comments. Own it, declare it. Let the weak call it arrogance. Let them stay in their cages while you walk free. And if you want more of this, if you want to go deeper into the psychology of power, influence, and control, hit that subscribe button. Because this channel exists for one reason: to wake you up, to arm you with the truth, to turn you into someone who can't be manipulated, can't be controlled, can't be stopped. This is your rebirth. This is your moment. Don't waste it. Now go and become the lion who learned the ways of the fox.